program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
The waters of the sea cover some 3/4 of the earth. Constantly hidden in these waters is one of America's greatest keepers of the peace. This Polaris submarine is returning from a long patrol. Its position throughout has been one of our country's most closely guarded secrets. It is surfacing off the coast of Scotland to prepare for a special exercise and for the first time to take aboard a correspondent and camera crew to chronicle its mission. In a moment, this first filmed record of a Polaris undersea voyage. NBC News. We are at sea off the Scottish coast. We have just joined the USS George Washington, a nuclear-powered Polaris submarine. She has surfaced for the first time after 6 weeks on patrol, with her missiles trained constantly on potential enemy targets. Her captain is Commander Edward Cook. Captain, watching this ship come out of the water is an awesome sight.
I guess it's appropriate, Martin, that we should look that way. We carry some very powerful weapons. We have just returned from a patrol where we were prepared to shoot those weapons if we had been directed to do so.
Were there any unusual incidents?
Nothing out of the ordinary. If we can consider it routine, and we do now, to go to sea, remain for weeks at a time, completely submerged, our location unknown, control our own atmosphere, a self-contained little unit at sea. It was just routine.
Captain, this is your first patrol as the skipper of a nuclear submarine. I know you've held other commands. Do you find the responsibility more burdensome in this command?
Yes, we carry 16 Polaris missiles, each one having a nuclear warhead capable of firing them 1,200 miles. One has only to think in terms of the weapons carried on this ship to realize the responsibility that is involved in command of the ship.
Captain, I'm sure you and the crew are looking forward to getting ashore at the Holy Lock.
Won't be much opportunity for it this time. As you know, our patrol was cut short, and we are going to be in for a short time now and right back out again on a special operation. Martin, if you would excuse me now, I'm going to have to bring the ship alongside the tender.
All right, sir.
Go all ahead 2/3.
Helm bridge, all ahead 2/3.
All ahead 2/3, Jack.
Preparations began the moment we tied up alongside the tender, the Proteus, in the Holy Lock. The most vital was to remove the nuclear warheads from our missiles. Our mission? To test, in the Atlantic missile range, the effectiveness of these weapons that had been aboard throughout the 18 months of our ship's frontline patrols. On deck, men prepared for one kind of mission. Below decks, for another. Back aboard, we asked the George Washington's executive officer, Lieutenant Commander Shepard Jenks, about the purpose of the mission.
This mission is important to make sure that this force that we have is truly operational, that it'll do what we think it'll do, and that it'll be there if this country of ours ever needs it.
All at 2/3, Jack.
The warheads changed over on some of the missiles. The brief liberty behind us, we set a secret course for the operational area in the mid-Atlantic.
Bridge clear personnel. Hatch secured, sir. Straight board, ready to dive, sir.
Very well. Dive the ship, Mr. Meyer.
Sound the diving alarm. Good.
Very well. Make your depth 100 feet.
100 feet.
100 feet, Isaac.
Open the forward group.
Open the forward group.
Lower all mass.
Forward group indicates open. Lower all man. That's going down.
Very well.
Okay, 5-degree down low.
Check the depth gauge with the periscope as we dip. Down easy, Mr. Marr.
All right, ease your bubble. 3-degree down. Okay, take it down easy. Take some of the dive off the planes. Take some off. Bring it down easy. That's it. Like 5 down. Okay.
Fluoroscope.
Feet, sir. Trim satisfactory.
Very well. All ahead standard.
We'll be back in a moment to see how men live and work under the sea after this message. We're submerged beneath the sea on the nuclear submarine USS George Washington. Our depth is 400 feet, and our captain, Commander Edward Cook, and his men are settling down to their mission. Captain Cook, how do men live and work under the sea?
Martin, we'd like you to see how we live and work. And I think the best way is for you to move about the ship and look at everything.
Thank you, Captain. I'll take you up on that.
Con radio receiving as EIA.
Hi, radio.
I learned that once submerged, the secrecy of our course must remain inviolate. We receive messages, never send them.
Now, what GDIUs are we going to use?
In the MCC, Missile Control Center, the weapons officer reviews details of the test shoot with one of his men.
All right. How about the EUs now? What are we going to do there?
Along one side of the missile compartment is the compact sick bay. The ship's doctor, Lieutenant Robert F. Jeffrey.
We have a somewhat different problem aboard the Polaris submarine than most submarines do. Once we go on patrol, we can't come back. For this reason, the medical department has the capabilities of a small hospital. We're prepared and have the equipment to do all major surgery. We take readings of the atmosphere at least every 4 hours. With the capabilities on this ship, we're able to keep the atmosphere at least as pure as country air, and certainly lots purer than city air. We have a program aboard for personal radiation monitoring. We have film badges carried on the belt. We develop these periodically, and in this way are able to demonstrate that people aboard this submarine receive considerably less radiation than one would on the surface and on land.
Just forward of the crew's mess in the bow of the ship are the defensive weapons even a nuclear submarine must carry. Torpedoes. A submarine's greatest enemy is another submarine. It dare not remain defensively naked underwater. Even while the crew inspects some torpedoes, others remain in the tubes, ready to fire. One of the most important elements of the ship's Polaris system is controlled by the navigator, Lieutenant Commander Marvin Schenker.
Hi, Marv.
Hello, Martin.
How is your job as a navigator on board this ship different from job on other ships?
Well, the primary difference, Martin, is that I have to be aware of our exact position at every hour of the day or night. As you know, we have to be ready to launch missiles at any moment. And in order to do this, we have to supply exact position to fire control so that they can feed the proper information into the missiles to ensure a hit at any time that we launch.
Tell me, Marv, how is the equipment that you work with particularly different on this ship from other ships?
Well, it's extremely more complex. The heart of our system are 3 inertial navigators. These inertial navigators are hooked up with many high-speed computers that work together with it. They can maintain position at all times of accuracies within yards. One very interesting difference, the last submarine, a conventional fleet-type submarine that I was on as navigator, whenever I wanted to get a position with the stars, it was necessary to go up on the bridge with a handheld sextant and shoot the stars, and then come back down and work out the sights with pencil and paper. On here, I can ask one of my computers to find that star for me just by naming the star. The computer then will put the periscope on the star. All I have to do is make any necessary corrections, say mark, and within a matter of seconds I have an accurate position fix. It really is amazing.
Farther aft, another amazing process is explained by Lieutenant DeMars.
Here in the scrubber room, which is located just forward of the reactor compartment, we have the major pieces of our atmosphere control equipment. This is the oxygen generator with which we make our oxygen on board. This CO2 scrubber, or carbon dioxide scrubber, is used to remove the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere of the ship. Basically, the ship operates on the same air for the entire 60-day patrol.
And nearby, the ship's engineer, Lieutenant Thomas Fitzgerald.
After this bulkhead is our nuclear power plant. The nuclear power plant heats water, which in turn generates steam to drive our propulsion plant, which drives the ship through the water. The electrical power we use to run our electric razors, the electrical power to heat our coffee, the water we use to brush our teeth with. In fact, everything on this ship is run by this nuclear power plant. The most important factor about our nuclear reactor plant is that we do not have to refuel for several years and can remain submerged for long periods of time.
Behind this door, the petty officer on duty was sonarman Oliver Volk.
Oliver, what are you doing?
I'm listening around the ship, sir. I am trying to pick up contacts. My ears are the eyes of the ship. A contact such as a cargo ship is going to be putting out a great amount of noise into the water. And as I train this hand wheel, I'm scanning a series of hydrophones that we have, and we can pick up this noise from the contact.
You can tell by the noise one ship from the other, or a
Yes,
whale
sir.
from a ship?
Yes, sir. As we come across a contact, we'll be able to hear it. We can zero right in on it. We can tell what it is, his speed, his course, his range. We can tell whether it's a cargo ship, or ordinary cargo ship, or an enemy submarine.
Have you ever picked up an enemy submarine, Oliver?
Well, I can't tell you that, sir. It's a classified matter.
Is it difficult to distinguish one ship from another, to know these underwater sounds, to tell a whale from a ship?
Yes, sir. It takes a great deal of training. I can let you listen to a few of our tapes.
I'd like to.
Yes, sir. These are whales. That sounds like humpback whales to me.
You said a humpbacked whale. How would you know that?
Oh, it's been verified through sightings. They've taken these sounds and then they've sighted these.
How many would you say were in there?
Well, I can hear at least 4. This is a sperm whale feeding.
How do you know that?
Oh, the tinkling sound you hear is, he has his teeth. It's like a big soup strainer. They're called a baleen type whale. What they do, they gulp great big mouthfuls of water, force it out through this type of soup strainer. That's what you're hearing tinkling. As all the water is forced out, it leaves
pieces of glass tinkling together.
Yeah. These are porpoises. They're a carefree bunch. If you listen closely, you can hear the girls from the boys.
How?
Yeah, just listen to the tones of the sounds they're making. Yeah. This is one of the things that makes our watch a little bit easier. It gets kind of monotonous out there, just listening all the time.
We'll continue the story of this undersea mission in a moment, after this message.
Just have to push the weapons officer now and make sure he gets his weapons. Anything now. So it's a pleasure.
You has a load this time, doesn't he?
Gentlemen.
Pretty well wrapped up.
You know, I've been wandering around the ship talking to a lot of the men, and you not only have an unusual weapons system, but it imposes a very strange life, it seems to me, on everyone on board this ship. You're cut away, of course, from sunlight, from fresh air, from the grass. Do you ever feel that you're cut off from the rest of the world at all here?
In news, certainly. Yeah. We receive some news while we're out on patrol, but it is limited. It's not like picking up a morning newspaper and being able to see what's going on. I think we all do feel cut off in news, but as far as the grass, I'm glad it's gone.
I think you really appreciate what you see a lot more, too. When you go back home and you see things grow, and it makes you... To me, I'm a green thumb man, so I enjoy this. I really notice it.
Do any of you find it oppressive that you're away for 60 days and know that there is nothing in the world that can ever shorten that period of being out of contact with home?
You can take this rigidity of schedule two ways depending on the mood you're in. You know with certainty that you're going to be alongside the Proteus for 30 days and then on a 60-day patrol, and then you're going to be home for a like length of time. So in one case, you know you're definitely going to be away for so long, cut off from your family and friends. But by the same token, you can plan on going to a homecoming football game half a year away, something you've never been able to do in the Navy before. And I think in some ways it's an advantage, in some ways it's a disadvantage. But I think most of us learn how to live with it.
I don't think you ought to give the impression that any of us like being away from our families, because we certainly don't. But we like our profession, and this is one of the hazards of the course.
All of you know the mission that you're on. Take you, Don, you're the missile officer. You're the one, you reach out, put your hand on the shoulder of Chief Nunn, he pushes the button that fires the missile. Suppose that missile were to be fired in anger. Do you ever think about that?
Not, Martin, not at the time that pushing the button. I don't have time now. I'm really thinking technically at the time. I'm primarily thinking about technical matters and more concerned about how my system's working at the time.
When you do think about the mission, what do you think?
Well, it's basically the philosophy that this particular weapon system is preserving our way of life. I've got kids at home, and I miss the kids when I'm away, but then I have the consolation that we're out here doing a job that's real important, and you can see the importance of it. And this is enough for me just to know that we have an objective, and it is a prime objective to deter war.
Well, the mere fact that it is a deterrent, you're helping to protect our way of life, and I don't think many of us are a turn the other cheek type. If we know the United States is being attacked, I have no qualms about those missiles going off, and I don't believe anybody else on board has.
You've all used the term repeatedly, deterrent. All of you must know that when we fire a missile, it'll only be in retaliation. And that means that chances are when you do fire it, that your families at home have already been hit. Do any of you ever think about that?
I'm sure we do, but not too long, fortunately.
No, I don't think any of us really believe it'll ever be used. I think because of the sheer strength of our country, and with systems like this, that we're all convinced that the weapon will never be used, and I'm sure we pray that it won't be.
I feel that we're also not only a deterrent, as most of us think of it, but as a a counterpunch to any attack that comes to the United States. And I think that this is something which our enemy has to count on, not only the deterrent force, but the counterpunch force that we do provide.
Do any of you ever think of the fact that if there were to be a nuclear war, that you certainly, if you were out in the patrol area, would survive it?
I've never really thought about being the last man on Earth. I've never really thought about surviving. I do believe my chances are better on a submarine of surviving any war, nuclear or otherwise. I don't like to think about it because I know that my wife and children would probably not survive such a thing, and therefore I've just cast it out of my mind, and I believe that if we stay strong, if we love our country, we'll win out without the nuclear holocaust.
First time I've had aces was the last hand there.
Did you have aces that time?
I made them all good. You know what Marty's going to do? He's going to paint this house for 3 days.
That's right, I got that schedule, haven't I?
You got that schedule, ain't you?
Play golf,
Paint
go
his house.
horseback riding, paint the house, play golf.
Paint the house.
No, 3 days painting the house and that's all, no more.
Even if you only get half it done?
Half or none, 3 days. I'm trying to rig out some way of getting rid of that 3 days.
I got the light. Come on, Morgan. Roll 'em! This ought to be good. Woo! This ought to be good.
Roll on, mule, there's a steamer at the lantern, waiting for the cotton to grow. Roll on, mules, for the boss is understanding. There's a pasture at the end of each row. Wagon wheel, keep on turn on, wagon wheel, just roll along. Sing your song, wagon wheel, carry me home. Wagon wheel, carry me home.
We'll continue the story of this undersea mission in a moment, after this message. The men on board this submarine, throughout the 60 days of their patrol, live in an artificial world of their own making. It is necessarily isolated, cramped, divorced from life's normal sunrise through sunset rhythm. Their time posts are a scheduled sequence of 4 hours on duty, 8 hours off, all cabined and confined with almost no privacy, within the circumference of this steel hull deep beneath the sea.
What about this life underneath the sea? Does it get on your nerves after 60 days? How do you feel about it on patrol?
Everybody gets tired of it. You get tired of doing the same things and the same things with the same people. Little things get to you, I know. Certainly, you have to get along with everybody on the ship because we're all out here and you just can't have war within the ship. But sometimes it's really hard to be tolerant of other people, and it's usually over something which is not important anyway.
Well, how can you reconcile personality conflict when it just gets to the point where you just can't stand each other?
Usually you can't. You just try and steer clear of each other, and I mean, you don't want to go to battle stations over it, but you just try and let things ride as best you can.
I don't think it ever gets so bad where you can't stand a guy. Maybe for that instant you can, and 5 minutes later you come back and have a cigarette with him and everything.
That's right. You have to be
just like it was before.
You know, how about some of the other little things like no night, no day, sleeping? How does that affect you?
A lot of
difference. Does it bother you really?
It never does to me. You look at it, you say, well, we could open the hatch, but where the hell could we go?
I know.
Feeling of enclosure doesn't get you down.
No, not until you get real homesick for the sky. Every once in a while, you come up and shoot stars. You can always look through the scope.
Periscope Liberty.
You know, there's one thing I think would bother everybody, whether you're married or not. That's being so completely out of communication with home for 60 days. How do you fellas feel about that?
It gets to you at times, even though you know that things are all right. I mean, you know your wife's capable of handling it, everything that might come up. You still try to think in the back of your mind, I should be home to help you in case something happens. And it bothers you not knowing what's going on.
It's a matter of a positive attitude. You must assume that everything is like you left it.
We're not completely out of communication. We receive messages from our families, or in these instances, their wives.
Family grant.
You know, and it just serves to boost this positive attitude that you know everything's all right, and for the most part, they won't send, if something is wrong, they won't say so anyway, because they know that you can't do anything about it, and they don't want to worry you.
What about being alone? Do you ever want to be able to get away from everybody on this ship, be alone? Is it possible?
You can always find a little hole somewhere around it, but
for the most part, you can just climb in your rack down below, and the lights are off most of the time, and if you have something you want to think about, you can either climb in your rack, somebody's around to bother you, or they're having a conversation or something. There are places where you can go sit and write or do whatever you want to do if you want to be alone.
You know, talking about missiles, do you ever think about why you're out here?
I never do. I try not to, except I think the only time that it really dawns on me exactly why we're here is when we have drills, battle stations, missile. And then I stop and think,
what do you think?
I think to myself, if this is for real, I sure hate to see the United States again, because if we fire, we're firing for a reason, and the reason will be that we have been fired upon. And it does scare me.
You know, talking about the practice, what about this shoot that's coming up?
I think it'll work fine. I'm sure we can do it, and I'm sure they'll work. I'm sure they'll go.
Much of every man's time goes to an unending job, whether off duty or on, keeping the intricate machinery ready to go. The space is always at a minimum. To get where you want to go, the routine is take a deep breath, squeeze by, and do it with a smile.
Captain, you know, wherever I go on your ship, I'm surrounded by all sorts of fantastic instruments, computers, gadgets, thinking machines. It's really an extraordinary weapons system. What is the strategic thinking on which the Polaris system is based?
We're a deterrent force. We prevent any potential enemy from gaining his objectives by war or threats of war. We can inflict damage on him that will be unacceptable to him. This is what makes us an effective deterrent.
Captain, you're the guardian of an enormous destructive power. Your 16 missiles have a firepower equivalent to every bomb dropped in the Second World War, including the atom bombs that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. What are your thoughts on the prospect of being ordered one day to push the fire button?
We know the power of our weapons, Martin. We are aware of their destructiveness, and if ordered to do so, we will shoot them without a moment's hesitation. To understand our mission, though, you must appreciate what we accomplish by being on station, ready to fire missiles. Our mission is constructive. We are preserving the peace. We're preventing war by the only means that is possible to prevent war at this time. That is by threatening retaliation to any aggressor. If there is a ray of hope in the future for a method of settling international differences, and I think there is, then it's of vital importance that we preserve the peace. Martin, our mission is not destructive. Our mission is to be a deterrent. We will certainly fire the missiles if necessary, but our mission has failed if it's necessary to shoot them.
Captain, how can you be sure that one of these weapons won't be fired by mistake? Well, perhaps by some foul-up in communications, or even by some man on board going berserk.
Let me tell you about the normal precautions we take. The missiles are located in the missile compartment. There is a watch there at all times. There are specific requirements for this watch. The men are trained. There must be 2 men on watch, equally trained. Certain areas of the missile compartment are exclusion areas. No access is permitted unless under the most stringent supervision. The missiles cannot be launched when we are operating in this condition. There are several precautions taken to prevent any possibility of an accidental launch. How can a missile be launched deliberately? No one person on the ship can launch a missile. No 2 persons can launch a missile. It takes the coordinated activity of the crew. There are a series of events that must be done in a precise manner. Once we go to battle stations, we go through these series of events, we can launch a missile. Would we do this? Yes, we do it on receipt of a proper message telling us to do it. These weapons can be released, can be fired only on order of the President, of course. If an order to launch missiles was received on board here, the authenticity of that message would be checked by 2 other officers in my presence. 3 of us then would be looking at the authentication. The final safeguard in our operation is the checking of this authentication of the firing message.
Captain, what about targets?
Target assignments are predetermined for me before I go on a mission. Our system for arranging targets is complex. It's a computer system. We have target assignment cards that are put in these devices. It's a complex and a secure system. There's no possibility of error here either. Target assignments can be changed while I am at sea. We have that flexibility because I am in constant communication with the command headquarters.
Captain, we have entered the area.
Excuse me, Martin. I'd like to tell the crew what we're doing. It is now 1700. We have just entered the patrol area. We may be ordered to launch missiles at any time. I do not plan any drills. If you hear the alarm, you will know that this is a firing run.
Man battle stations missile. Man battle stations missile.
All stations, weapons on the line.
Weapons BCP on the line.
Con launcher on the line.
Pass. All stations, navigation on the line. Captain, all stations report man for battle stations missile.
Very well.
I have communications with Con and weapons, sir. Very well. Navigation is making a reset. Aye, aye. In course, Commander. Con, weapons, navigation. We are putting a reset into the master.
Con, aye. Reset going into the master.
Very well.
All stations, navigation. Time check. On the mark, 17:34. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark,
17:34. I'll stage out the time check, sir.
Very well.
Con, weapons, course alignment complete, all fire orders.
Con I. Course alignment complete, all firing orders, Captain. You have speed control, Mr. DeMars.
Con, launcher, what is our depth now?
We're at launch depth and speed, Captain.
Weapons con at launch depth and speed.
Con, navigation. The navigator requests that we maintain a steady course during the time we're putting in the reset. Navigation aye. The con reports they intend to maintain a steady course for the remainder of the run, sir.
Very well. Tell fire control reset is coming over. Reset complete. Navigation ready.
Con I. Reset on the master sends complete, Captain.
Very well.
Weapons statical. Standard condition 1. Measured brake charge. Missiles all go. Motor ready. Weapons launcher. Condition 1 SQ. Set in launcher.
Launcher con, tube 11 outer door indicates unlocked.
Yes, sir. Tube 11 outer door indicates unlocked. Con, weapons, erection complete, all fire orders. Weapons supervisor. Condition 1 SQ set in fire control, data code switches in remote, MCC ready. Supervisor, weapons, turn on firing circuit power. Con, weapons, condition 1 SQ set, MCC ready.
Condition 1 SQ set and MCC ready. Very well. You have permission to fire.
Weapons con, you have captain's permission to fire.
Prepare to fire. Fire order 1. Bubble hatch number 1 open. Con, weapons, data code switches didn't roll or rolled them in manual. Shift internal. Fire button.
This patrol of the U.S. Fleet Ballistic Missile Submarine George Washington is ended where it began. Her crew rejoins now the normal world, where there is day and there is night, where grass grows and the wind blows, a world unbounded by the walls of the steel cylinder within which they go about the exacting duties of their long undersea mission. The mission itself is not at an end. Even as this ship left her assigned station, another of her sister submarines took her place. And in a short time, she will again be on patrol with a fresh crew. For this is a mission that can never end until there is an end to the threat to peace. Today, the Polaris fleet is still far short of the number needed to cover all the vital potential targets. But by 1967, the strategic goals will be fully met by 41 of these ships. The range of its nuclear missiles will have lengthened then from today's 1,200 miles to 2,500. And by then, its patrols may extend beneath the waters of the Atlantic, the Pacific, the Indian, and the Arctic Oceans. I couldn't find one man on board the George Washington, from her captain to her youngest seaman, who was unaware of the awful destructive power he could be commanded to unleash. Yet I think Captain Cook spoke for all when he said this: "We see our mission as keeping the peace. We will make war if we must. Yet if I am ever commanded to fire, I shall feel our mission has failed.